for the continuation of the evidence. Okay, this is criminal claims that we did, and exhibit lists in support of claims partial, separate, or attached USB drive provided by the good faith attempts to resolve and settle as advised by the Sheriff's Department to keep digging. Okay, Exhibit 1, we're going to testify to this. And we're going to go down the line here and testify to all these exhibits 1 through 33. Okay, and we're going to start with number 1 here. Let's go down to number 1, Exhibit 1 of the criminal claims. There it is here. Okay, so this was after Mr. Belfort had gotten the checks when he'd already inquired for it when I first was elected into the position of Secretary Treasurer and placed in there by the former officers. I accepted. Mr. Belfort had already requested 5 years of all the checks. He received them. He gave them to me to look at. I started going through them. And shortly after that, I made a sheriff's report. Okay, this was on August 12th. So it was roughly within a month. By the time, see, it took me a while. I didn't get the books and records for at least 2 weeks or 3 weeks after I was put in that position. Okay, so this is Thursday, August 12th. So I want to show here. Let's go down to the thing here. I made a report to the sheriff concerning the checks that were written to him because there was a lot of inconsistencies in there. I didn't fully know at the time, but I knew that because all the checks were written to them, that it says, and after I read the bylaws, it's like, they're not supposed to do that. It's strictly against the bylaws, and everything was written to them with no accounting for it. So and other stuff that was in there. So I made a sheriff's report, and I contacted them. Here's the case number 21-50898. And so I wanted to send him a USB with the checks, as his file is very large, and I will be working on the boxes I have in my possession. Okay, this was sent to the sheriff's case. And he says, I am preparing your case for assignment to a detective before we can proceed. Additional documentation to include copies of the checks and any documentation that will reflect the expenditure of funds. You may provide the documentation, return email to fax to my attention. Now, I did all this. Okay, so he's an investigative assistant, Washoe County Sheriff's Department. Detective.
And then the sheriff that I met with was Detective Swanson.
Okay.
And we have his card.
Anyway, so this is when it all started, when I knew that there was something wrong with how this association was being run. Okay, and then we later found out that the whole thing was basically being run in fraud. Okay, so this is where it started, August 12, 2021, shortly after I received the books and records, I turned this in. Now, we haven't heard anything from the Sheriff's Department. Okay, and there's been threats. There's an actual case when the individual threatened to bury myself and Mr. Belfort out there. Why we were in an open court case against the former officers. Okay, which we prevailed in. They were trying to say that the association didn't exist after we have all this evidence of what they've been doing in there. Now, because they decide it doesn't exist, that's how they just decided that, even though they voted a
try to cover their tracks.
Yeah, the whole thing's full of fraud. The whole thing's full of fraud. I'm making that claim. I've made the claim with the criminal claim here. So this is Exhibit 1. This is where the first document, when I found it, and it was done right here, this criminal claims right here, and it was sent to the Attorney General. Okay, so it's all in there. And at this time, these are some of the case numbers, but it's like double that size now. So stand by. That's what we have to say. Do you have any final thoughts on this for Exhibit 1? It's pretty basic.
Only that they're just fraudsters.
Yeah,
so,
you met with the sheriff.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
And
what was his name?
Final words to me, they basically refused to do anything about it. But his final words to me were,
"Keep digging." Yeah, that's what we have on there. Okay, and it's there's no disputing this stuff now. Okay, there's no disputing it. So this was done. That's Exhibit 1. Stand by for Exhibit 2.